ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्वन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः विषेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यः प्रज्ञानां शुभप्रतानैः स्थिरजरनिकरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्तविष्टान् पुनरपि दिशनोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुङ् मायया भोजयन्नः मायासङ्ख्यातुरीयं परम् अमृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। द्वयोर्द्वयोर्मधुज्ञाने परं ब्रह्म प्रकाशितं पृथिव्यामुदरे चैव चिदाकाशप्रकाशितः। द्वयोः द्वयोः मधुज्ञाने परं ब्रह्म प्रकाशितम्। यथा आकाशः पृथिव्याम् उदरे चैव प्रकाशितः तथा द्वयोर्द्वयोर्मधुज्ञाने परं ब्रह्म प्रकाशितम्। भाष्यकार introduces this kincha अधिदैवतम् अध्यात्मं च तेजोमयः अमृतमयः पुरुषः पृथिव्यादि अंतर्गतः यः विज्ञाता पर एव आत्मा ब्रह्म सर्वम् इति द्वयोः द्वयोः आद्वैतक्षयात् परं ब्रह्म प्रकाशितम्. The context of this shloka is in establishing that the upadhi is also Brahma. Sangata swapnavat sarve atma maya visarjitaha adikye sarvasamyeva na upapattihi hi vidyate. That is the context. When you say the Brahma, which is Paratma, is all that is here, through the Hetu Drishtanta of Ghatakasha and Mahakasha, then the question is, what is the status of the Upadhi? The Ghatakasha, there is a perception of a separate Akasha called Ghatakasha, pot space, from the total space through the Upadhi, which is the pot. Similarly, the Paratma is seen as Pratyagatma or Jivatma by the Upadhi, which is body, mind, sense complex. This body, this mind, these senses are the basis for separating out this Maha Atma or Paratma into Jivatma. If that is the case, what is the reality of this Karyakarana Sanghata, body, mind, sense complex? What is the status? That is the question. Now, the Karikakara explained saying Sanghataha Swapnavati Sarve Atmamaya Visarjitaha, they are created. They are created by Atma only, but not a real creation, but Maya Visarjidaha. They are spun through the Atma Maya. So it's a Mithya Bhuta Srishti, just like Swapnavati. Aditya Sarvasamya, that is okay. That is very specifically in that context. One thing was dismissed is Aditya Sarvasamya, all that doesn't have a basis, but let us, that anyway we have discussed. Let us come to the context is, the context here is that the Upadhi Karyakarana Sanghata are not real. What is the pramana for that? The pramana for that is first brought in from the Taittiriya Upanishad through this verse, Rasadayo hi ekoshaha vyakyataha Taittiriyake tesham atma paro jivaha kham yata samprakashitaha. Just like the space becomes Ghatakasha, likewise, here the Paratma has become Jiva. And the differentiation is caused by the Upadhi, and the Upadhi is not different from Rasadayo Koshaha. The Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha is what is the Karyakarana Sanghata. And Taittiriya Upanishad has shown you that this Karyakarana Sanghata is born out of this Atma only. Okay. The birth and all is now going to be, that is another problem now. There is a question which is a big question is, so if it is already born, so it may have been Paratma before, but this Deha, the Sanghata, body, mind, sense complex and all the earth and all these things, Panchabhuta, everything is born. So since the birth is already there, then duality has already been established, is what they are going to say. Now that will be discussed in later verses as to what is this Srishti. The Nanatva Srishti, is it real Srishti or what kind of Srishti is going to be discussed. Now before that, other than the Taittiriya Upanishad, the Madhu Brahmana is quoted in this verse that we are Prakrita. That this verse that we are right now discussing, the 12, verse number 12, Dvayoho Madhujnane Param Brahma Prakashitam. Vashikara says, Adidaivatam Adhyatmam cha Tejomayaha Amritamayah Purushaha Prithivyadi Antargataha. All this Prithvi, Up, Tejo, Vayu, Agni, all that. I mean, Up, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, and all these things. All these are pervaded by Amritamayah Purushaha, Tejomayah Purushaha, the conscious entity which has a Amarana Guna, that which does not undergo any change. Maranam means change. Okay. That which doesn't lend itself for to any change, that kind of a Purushaha, Purishayanat Purushaha, that which indwells every experience, whether it is the experience of fire or air or the earth, every experience is indwelled by that Purusha which is Tejomayaha. That Purushena Vyaptam and Prithivyadi Antargataha Yaha Vijnata. See, the Vijnata. So the pervading entity is Vijnanam only. That by which all these are experienced, known. That is the easiness. There is nothing else. The easiness is Chinmatra. We are not talking about a mind or vritti here, but the easiness is the Vijnata. You can call it as witness perception, but again, witness perception means there is something being witnessed. In fact, the adhara of the vritti, which is the easiness, which is not an inert easiness, but which is the conscious easiness. Okay. That is the Vijnata. Adidaivatam Adhyatmam cha. There are only two things. The idam and aham. Okay. Idam na idam. These are the two things. Me and the not me. Dvauhi padarthau. Atma anatmanau. So only two things. Atma and anatma are the only two. Atma is Adhyatmam. Anatma is Adidaivatam. Okay, because the Anatma also is seen as a conscious. Everything here is operating. It is not like they are inactive. They are all active. Sun is active, moon is active, earth is active, every star is active, every planet is active, every other being is active. In the sense, like they are either in in some kind of motion. So you have so these are all just symbiotically alive, right? They don't talk to you, but because but that doesn't mean they are not active. So the earth is going around. What is the cause by which earth is going around the sun? There is some conscious cause which is continuously activating it. That is Adidaivatam, Adhyatmam. But both of them have to be indwelled by a conscious easiness. The activity is supported by the easiness, which is in the form of awareness, Chaitanyam, because of which all these are functioning. That Tejomaya Amritamaya Purushaha Pritivyadi Antargataha, it is indwelling in everything. Yaha Vijnata Parayeva Atma Brahma Sarvam. That Brahma is Sarvam iti Dvayoho Advaita Kshayat Param Brahma Prakashitam. At the end, after talking about all these two things, we will see that just in a minute. Okay, a few minutes. The conclusion is Param Brahmaiva was shown where Kwaityaha Brahma Vidyakhyam Madhu Amritam Amritatvam Modana Hetutvat Tadvijnayate Yasminniti Madhujnanam Madhu Brahmanam Tasminnityartaha. So the Shruti is talking about Brahmeva idam sarvam. That idam is dvayoho. All these duals, pairs. Okay. But all these pairs are nothing but Brahmaiva is spoken. It is prakashitam. It was revealed in the Shruti. In which Shruti he says Madhu Brahmane, Madhu Jnane. In the Madhu Brahmana, Tasmin Nityartaha. It is shown by the Shruti that it is all Brahma. The Karyam is in the form of pairs. Vyashti and Samashti together comprise of the Karyam. And the Karanam is Brahma, is shown in Madhu Brahmana. What is that Madhu Brahmana? Vashyakara explains here Brahma Vidyakhyam Madhu. Brahma Vidyakhyam Madhu. The Akhya, the name. Sorry. Madhu is Amritam. Madhu is honey. Okay. So that which is very sweet, that which everybody wants to lick, is the Madhu. And the madhu is nothing but Brahma Vidya. Nothing is more sweet than Brahma Vidya. This is the Vidya of you. And there is nothing more tasty than your own self. The Ananda is being yourself. In fact, we think external things are giving happiness. The pursuit of external things is actually what is making you lose your happiness. Because you are pursuing external things with the assumption that you are not complete. And that conclusion that I am not complete, I am a wanting person, is the cause of dukkha. Simple. So being yourself is what is the amritatvam. And that is gained through the Brahma Vidya. That is why Brahma Vidya eva madhu. You have seen that Krishna lying in Ashwatha leaf, Alilai Kannan in Tamil we say. Okay. It's not, I'm just thinking, is it Ashwatha leaf or Vata leaf? I don't know why they call Alilai Kannan. Because Alam is Vata Vriksha. Anyway, so it is actually the Ashwatha leaf, if I remember right. In that, the Sri Krishna kid is lying down. We have seen. But what is that Krishna licking? That Krishna is licking his own foot. Okay. He just picks one of the foot and is licking his thumb. What does it imply, signify? It is the Atmanandaha, Atmaratihi. You don't need anything else for Rati. The Atma Surupameva Madhu. Therefore, Brahma Vidyakhyam Madhu. What else? The nectar of the self, the glory. That is why it is Ananda. Nothing hinders you, your Ananda there. The hindrance to Atmananda is only the Jivatva Buddhi, Paratma Buddhi. Then you are that is the Madhu. Brahma Vidyakhyam Madhu, Amritam, Amarana Dharmam. This Atma Vastu is without any Marana Dharma. So the Madhu, Bhashyakara translate as Amritam. Mritatvam is what? Samsaritvam. Samsaravatvam only is Mritatvam. So this Bhayam, Udaramantaram Kurute, Atatasya Bhayam means samsara only. Samsara means becoming, sense of becoming. Okay, I want to be this, be that, I want to be complete, so you want to possess something. That is all samsara. Okay, all the avidya kama karma by which you are running around is samsaritvam. Whether you are physically running around or your buddhi is running around in search of pleasure. Everything is a pain. There is no pleasure. What pleasure? Atma vastu, Atma Ramaha only is pleasure. That also is not a Vishaya Sukha, which is momentary. It is Swarupananda, just being. That is Shanti. Shanti Reva Ananda. That is Amritatvam, because you are not becoming. This body may go, doesn't matter. Even the mind can collapse, but Astitvam doesn't go anywhere. Astitvam is not limited to this body. It is everything is Astitvam, and that is your Swarupa. This body, this mind, this all is Mithya only. And the easiness of this is also your Swarupa, which is Satyam. And that is Parashantihi. That Shanti doesn't go away anywhere. Therefore, it is Amritam Madhu. It is not changing. Therefore, it doesn't die, Amritam. And it is the reason for joy. Because your Swarupa, every joy is for because of the Swarupa. The easiness is what is the easiness of joy also, isn't it? So, Brahma Vidyakyam Madhu. That Madhu, why it is Amritam? And Amritam is also Madhu. Why? Because he says Amritatvam Modana Hetutva. So Amritatvam only is Modana Hetu. If you don't change, you are just being the complete Swarupa. That non-changingness gives you the Shanti, which is happiness. Modana Hetutva. Tad Vijnayate Yasminne. In that portion of Brihadaranyaka, where it is known is called Madhubrahmanam. Tasmin Madhubrahmane Param Brahma Prakashitam Dvaitakshayat. So this Madhubrahmana talks about Brahma after this pairs of opposites are dismissed. Kimi Vaityaha पृथिव्याम उदरे चैव यथा एक आकाशः अनुमानेन प्रकाशितः लोके तद्वत् the same akasha is inferred in prithivyam, that space which is all pervasive, but that space is also in udara akasha. It is ekaha eva atma iti anumanena prakashitah. Now let us look at that Madhu Brahmana, because context is there. There is a interesting introduction Bhashyakara gives. Panchamam Brahmanam yet kevalam karma nirapeksham amrutatva sadhanam tadvaktavyamiti Maitreyi Brahmanam arabdham. The Maitreyi Brahmanam started by this aspect. Karma nirapeksham amrutatva sadhanam kevalam vaktavyam. So that which, so this amrutatvam word is here. So Bhashyakara, that is why in Mandukya use that word Amritatva Sadhanam. Dvayor Madhujnane Param Brahma Prakashitam is what is the Karika. Bhashyakara said what? Brahma Vidyakyam Madhu Amritam Amritatvam Modana Hetutva. That Amritatva Siddhi is what is introduced in this Bhashya, in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya Panchama Brahmane. Bhashyakara introduces Amritatva Sadhanam. Karma Nirapeksham. Because why? Akarta Kartru. That which is not a Karyam. Karma Nirapeksham. Okay, moksha is not to be achieved through a Karyam, because it is a Siddha Vastu. It is not a Sadhya Vastu. Jnana Sadhyam we can say, but Vastu is Siddha. Siddha and hidden in the person who is pursuing. It is hidden as the Swarupa, the very Swarupa. And the Swarupa of not this pursuer, the what is being pursued is also same Swarupa. Ajnana also has the same Swarupa. Everything there is only one Swarupa, which is the Astitvam Brahma. Therefore, it is Siddhavastu. It's not to be created. Therefore, Karma Nirapeksham. You don't need to do any Vajapeya, any Somayaga to achieve this Brahma Moksha. Or you have to go and praise any god and reach. You don't need anyone to salvage you, because there is nothing which is there other than you, first of all, that can come and salvage you. And you don't need to be salvaged, because you are Amritameva. Therefore, there is no karma which is needed to plead to someone or to do some action or to do some yaga. Karma nirapeksham amritatva sadhanam tadvaktavyamiti Maitreyi Brahmanamarabhyam. I'm not going to go through the entire Brihadaranyaka, don't be worried, okay? But some certain portion we will see in the next few minutes, okay? Tachatmajnanam sarva sanyasanga visishtham atmani cha vijñāte sarvamidi atmani vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. That is the context. That is a pratigna. Yasmin vijñāte sati sarvam vijñātam syad. Okay. What is that? That is the atma vare mantavyaha drashtavyaha mantavyaha nididya. So he is going to say atma cha priyaha sarvasmat. Atma is sarva priya. No, who doesn't like atma? Everyone loves atma. Okay. Because that is the Swarupa, that is one's nature, one Swarupa only. It is what you are. That is why you want to go to sleep, deep sleep. You are happy when you are able to do meditation. When you gain samadhi, you are so happy because at least at that moment you are one with yourself. When you achieve any objective, suppose you want to achieve something, I want to solve this problem, Sudoku problem. You become happy. Why? Because when you achieved it, you suspended all your wants and you are yourself. Just think of any moment you are so happy. At that time, you would have suspended everything. You are just who you are. Why do you like that? Because Atma, that is you. Sarvasmat Atma cha priyaha. Tasmad Atma drashtavyaha. So you need to see that Atma. Atma is you, yourself. What is that darshanam? Darshanam is cognition. That is the right translation. There is no darshanam because there is no drashta, drishtam, darshanam. Okay, the triputi is not there. Pramatri pramana prameya, bheda is not there. That is Atma darshanam. Because it is Advayam Brahma. Advayam Brahma, see, this is where we are all lost. You are trying to find the Atma. You are never going to find. Okay, because the moment you find it, then the finder, the found, and the finding, there is no Advayam. There is no Advaitam. So then you have to say, you will be Atma. Now then I have to ask, oh, if I have to be Atma, am I not already Atma? Yeah, you are Atma. But that cognition takes place as I am Atma only. Therefore, this drashtavyaha means cognitively knowing. Such as srotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha iti darshana prakaraha uktaha. These all you know. Okay, we can't get into each of these. Tatra shrotavyaha acharya agamabhyam. So you listen to Shruti through an acharya. Acharyavan purusho veda. Mantavyaha tarkataha. Vedo nityam adhiyatam tadiditam karmas. There, dustarkat Shrutimata Starkonu Sandhiyata. So leave Dustarka and get into Shrutimata Starka. Anusandhana of Shrutimata Starka has to be done. Dustarka Suviramyatam Shrutimata Starkonu Sandhiyatam, I think. Virama, abstain from the Dustarka and engage in Shrutimata Starka. Therefore, here also Mantavyaha Tarkataha. And what is that Tarka? Tarkaha Uktaha Atmeva Idam Sarvam Iti Pratikñātasya Hetuvachanam Atma Eka Samanyatvam Atma Eka Udbhavatvam Atma Eka Pralayatvam. So you are born of Atma, sustained by Atma, and resolve into Atma. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yevana sarvamidam tatam. That is the Brahma. Okay. So here Atmeka Samanyatvam, Atmaika Udbhavatvam, Atmeka Pralayatvam cha. यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि जायन्ते यतो वा इमानि भूतानि जायन्ते यतो वा इमानि भूतानि जायन्ते यस्मिन् I forgot that. Okay, so that Shruti Vakya is also there.
Yena
Yena
jatani.
jatani jivanti. Yes. Then yes, yasmin pravishanti is also there, right? Ito va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti. I don't know if any of you remember. So atme
Prayancha abhisambhishanti iti.
abhisham vishanti iti. So where it goes and samvishanti, where it goes and attains laya. Same atmeka samanyatvam, atmeka udbhavatvam, atmeka pralayatvam cha. So it is that which arises, sustains and resolves into the same swarupa. Tatra ayam hetuhu asiddha iti ashankyate. Okay, tatra ayam hetuhu asiddha iti ashankyate. Atmeika samanyodbhava pralayakyah tad ashanka nivrityartham etad brahmanam arabhyate. That ashanka. Okay, so he is basically introducing this portion Madhu Brahmana as a manana. It is for manana tarka mantavyaha tarkataha, and then he quotes Chandogya saying that it is Atma which is here. And how is Atma idam sarvam? So to show that a tarka is given. And what is the tarka? That is the doyor madhujnana. That is where the Mandukya is going to refer to this because it is a tarka portion, manana portion. And that's why this the third prakaranam, Advaita prakaranam, is also yuktya eva. If you remember when Bhashyakara started this, he said yuktya api advaitam avagantum shakyate. It is something like that he introduced. Therefore, tarkataha also you can arrive at advaitam. So even though he is using Shrutivakya here, but this portion is also a kind of manana only, tarka only. Why? Because it's going to say yam prithvi sarvesham bhutanam madhu asyai prithvyai sarvani bhutani madhu yascha ayam asyam prithvyam tejomayah amritamayah purushah yascha ayam adhyatmam shariras tejomayo amritamayah purushah ayameva sayoyam atma idam amritam idam brahma idam sarvam. It is going to show that these four things, Bhashyakara will say chakara is yaschayam adhyatmam, means that is also included. What are the four things? Prithvi, Bhutani, Tejomaya Purushaha, Atma. These four things are mutually dependent. Upakaraka Upakarya Sambandha is there. Therefore, because of that reason, you have to conclude that all four are dependent, or Karanam for all four of them is something other than these four, which is nothing but Brahma. So what is used here? Yukti. Okay, it is some kind of a logic. So yuktitaha only. So because that's why Bhashyakara introduces this as tarkataha. Tatra cha tarkaha uktaha atmaiva idam sarvam iti pratignyadasya hetuvachanam atmeika samanyatvam atmeika udbhavatvam atmeika pralayatvam cha. Tatra ayam hetuhu. What is that hetuhu? Asiddha iti hetuhu asiddha iti akanshate आशंकते आत्मेक सामान्योद्भव प्रलयाख्याः तद आशंका निवृत्त्यर्थम एतत् ब्राह्मणम आरभ्यते. So that hetu, what is the hetu to say that it is all born of Atma, Atma pralaya is there, sustained by Atma? What is the hetu? So to resolve that, give the hetu is this Madhu Brahmana. And the hetu is that Anyonya Upakaraka Upakarya, Paraspara Upakarya Upakaraka Bhutatvam is there between these. That hetu is used. Because that hetu is used, it is a tarka. That is why in Advaita Prakarana, this is quoted. Okay, ayam hetuhu asiddha iti ashankyate. Yasmat paraspara upakaraka upakarya upakaraka bhutam jagat sarvam prithvyadi yaccha loke paraspara upakarya upakaraka bhutam tat ekakarana purvakam ekasamanyatmakam ekapralayam cha drishtham. Whenever there is a tightly mutual dependence, so for you to experience this jagat, your individuality should be there. When I am an individual as this body mind sense complex, then only I can experience this external world. Without my this in an awakened state where I can identify myself as an individual, then only I can identify this world. And for me to identify this individuality, the world has to exist. Then only my individuality is within that. So both of them are mutually dependent. You can never experience the individuality without experiencing the samashti jagat. You can never experience the samashti jagat without you being an individual also being experienced with it. Just like in the dream, you experience a dream, and in the dream world there is a world and there is a you. So the Vyakti and Samashti are recognized at the same time because they are mutually dependent. Because they are mutually dependent, they need to exist together all the time. Means they are dependent on something else. The dream is dependent on your mind, which spins the whole thing, in which you and others are all both there. Because if you can exist without the other, then you can say that these are two different entities. You don't have to link them. But if both are there at the same time and as mutually dependent always, you can never. So if iron is there and a flower is there, every time iron is there, you don't see a flower. So they are two different things. But a rod is there and iron is also there, and whenever you see the iron rod, you have to see the iron also in it. Then, so there it is Satyamitya. But if there are two different things which always have to be seen together, that means the cause is something else. Here it is not Satyamitya. Jagat is not Mitya and the Jiva, this individual is Satyam. It is not that kind of a relationship. They are both of same reality, but they have to together exist. So that means there have to be something else. That is what is called Paraspara Upakaryo Upakaraka Bhutatvam. That is there for many things. Okay. So that is why there are many things which is listed, because they all seem to be all the time linked to one another. Okay, one needs the other needs the same, and they are like in the case of Prithvi and Bhuta, which is going to be spoken about now. Prithvi yaccha loke paraspo upakarya upakaraka bhutam tat ekakarana purvakam ekasamanyatmakam ekapralayam tasmat च दृष्टं तस्मात् इदमपि पृथिव्यादिलक्षणं जगत् परस्पर उपकार्योपकारकत्वात् तथा भूतं भवितुम् अर्हति। एषः हि अर्थः अस्मिन् ब्राह्मणे प्रकाश्यते। अथवा आत्मेव इदं सर्वम् इति प्रतिज्ञातस्य आत्मोत्पत्तिस्थितिलयत्वं हेतुमुक्त्वा पुनः आगमप्रदानेन मधुब्राह्मणेन प्रतिज्ञातस्य अर्थस्य निगमनं क्रियते। तथा हि नैयायिकैः उक्तं हेतु अपदेशात् प्रतिज्ञायाः पुनर्वचनं निगमनमिति अन्यैः व्याख्यातम् आदुन्दुभिदृष्टान्तात् श्रोतव्यार्थम आगमवचनं प्राङ्मधुब्राह्मणात् मन्तव्यार्थम् उपपत्तिप्रदर्शनेन मधुब्राह्मणेन तु निदिध्यासनविधिः उच्यते इति. So these two things he is bringing up here. Okay. So the Nayayika and others more or less are contesting this Manana Paksha that he took up. Okay, and they are saying this is a Nididhyasana Vidhi and all that. So Bhashikara is saying Sarvata Pitu Yata Agamena Avadharitam tarkaha tata eva mantavyam tata tarkataha matam tasya yata tarkataha matam tasya tarka agamabhyam nishchitasya tata eva nididhyasanam kriyate iti pritak nididhyasanaha nididhyasana vidhi anartakaha eva. So you don't need a separate nididhyasana vidhi is what he is saying. Why? Because whatever has been picked up by this Shravana and Manana, only you are going to repeat in Nididhyasana. You don't need a separate Jnanam for Nididhyasana. At least for Manana, you can pick up a certain thing. See, Agama says all that is here is Brahman. That's all. Now, Mananam has to be taken up and said, how is all Brahma? Even though it says Brahma is Chinmatram, Jnanam Brahma, but I don't see Jnanam Brahma in the wall. I don't see Jnanam Brahma in the cloth. How is it possible that Sarvam Brahmaiva? Now then Manana comes to assimilate the Shruti Vakya that Sarvam Brahmaiva. And for that you need certain views. Okay, how is it? Some Hetu and Drishtanta have to be given. Then only you can do Manana. So Shruti has to say, okay, look at the Srishti. Don't you see mutual dependence? So that mutual dependence, because of which if you analyze, you can see that all that is here Brahmaiva, it can give you. Okay, that is your Manana. Nididhyasanam is what? Atma eva idam sarvam, and you sit and do Nididhyasanam. So Atma eva idam sarvam, how Atma eva idam sarvam is already established by Manana. So that only after it is established, your doubts are clarified, then for Swabhavika any hindrances, you use Nididhyasanam to just root the jnanam that you have already gained. Therefore, you don't need a separate Nididhyasana Vidhi, is what he says. Okay, I think this is not contextual, this is not something for this Mandukya, but anyway, it's there, so I'm just. Tasmat Pritak Prakarana Vibhagaha Anartakaha iti Asmada Viprayaha Shravanamanana Nididhyasananam. Okay, so there is no separate prakarana needed. All same jnanam only. You have to do mananam on the same and do nididhyasanam on the same sarvadapi. But only the difference, then why the shravana and manana from a shrutivakya perspective? Because in the manana you need a logic. For the shravana, what is the statement of fact? Shruti is what? It is going to give some things which is apurva for you. You don't already have the jnanam, it reveals. It just has to tell this is what it is. It doesn't need to prove anything to you. Okay. Shruti has to just say, hey, Sarvam Brahma. Okay, and Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma. That's all. Shruti doesn't have to come and prove to you how come Prajnanam Brahma. That's not, because it's a Pramana. It just reveals. Now, Shraddha, if you is there, you look at it. So that is, so with that, Shravanam is enough. But to help you, it just gives, okay, why don't you just look at it this way? Okay, therefore, the Mananam is to just support it. That's all. Other than that, Shruti doesn't need to give one separate you or prove to you and all that. Sarvatapitu adhyayadvayasyartha asmin brahmane upasamhriyate. Okay, now let's come to the all of them. There are about 12 or 14 something number of duals. Doyoho, many are spoken about. But interestingly, Bhashyakara just discusses the first one and says this is the artha for everything. Sarvesham Sankshepatāh Madhuparyayanam ityartha, he just says. Okay. So if we read this Bhashyam, then more or less the entire Madhubrahmana artha is come here. Yam Prithvi Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu. We saw that briefly in the last session. Yam Prithvi Prasiddha Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu. Prasiddha Prithvi, this earth is like a honey to all living beings because they all consume, everything comes from this Prithvi only. Annam Brahme Divyajanat. Okay, Annam is Brahma. So this Prithvi is Brahma, is like that which on which everything is sustained. Sarvesham Brahmadi Stambha Varyantanam Bhutanam Praninam madhu. Don't ask me where is Brahmaji sitting in this earth. Okay. When it is Prithvi means all solids. Somewhere if he is there, Brahmaji is sitting in Satyaloka or somewhere. Okay. If we literally take it. Okay. If we figuratively take it, then it's a different thing. Like Kailasa means Kaile Asa. Like that if you say, or Vaikunta is, without Kunta, where there is no Kunta. Okay. If you take it, then it is a figurative expression. But if you literally take Brahmaji is sitting in some loka, then also that loka is Prithvi only. So that's Brahmadi Stambhavaryantanam Bhutanam Praninam Karyam. What? This Prithvi. Madhu iva madhu. Yata me ekaha madhu apupaha. Anekaihi madhukaraihi nirvartitaha. Evam iyam Prithvi sarvabhuta nivartita. Like beehive, where many bees are sitting accommodated, so too is this earth accommodating all living beings. Tata sarvani bhutani prithvyai. Prithivya asyaha madhu karyam. And we all eat from this Prithvi. All the food is from Prithvi. If you eat a goat or a hen or whatever, that also ate its food from the Prithvi. Therefore only it is said Oshadibhyaha annam. You directly eat the Oshadi or you eat the processed Oshadi. The processing can happen in some factory or in some animal's stomach. But you eventually eat only Oshadi, which is the only one which creates food. Okay. From sunlight and other things. Kincha yaschayam purushaha asyam prithivyam tejomayaha chinmatra prakashamayaha amritamayaha maranadharma purushaha. This Purusha, Purishainath, that Hiranyagarbha. Okay, that Purusha is Asyam Prithivyam Tejomayaha Chinmatra Prakashamayaha Amritamayaha Amarana Dharmaha. We just saw. This is what he quoted in Mandukya. Okay, so Prithvi Antargataha Tejomaya Adi Dev Adiatmam cha Tejomayaha Amritamayah Purushaha Prithvyadi Antargataha Yaha Vijnata Parayeva Atma Brahma Sarvamiti. So in same thing, if you see in Brihadaranyaka, he talks about exact same. Prithivyam Tejomayaha Chinmatra Prakasham. Why? Because Brihadaranyaka talks about it. Tejomayaha Amritamayah Purushaha Yascha Ayam Adhyatmam Shariraha Tejomayaha Amritamayah Purusha. So there are two Amritamayah Purusha. One is within the Prithvi, other is within this body. Okay. अस्याम पृथिव्याम तेजोमयः चिन्मात्र प्रकाशमयः अमृतमयः अमरणधर्मा पुरुषाः यश्च अयम् अध्यात्मं शरीरः शरीरे भवः पूर्ववत् तेजोमयः अमृतमयः पुरुषः. Both are same. This indweller of this body is also tejomaya amritamaya purusha. The indweller of Ishvara body, which is Prithvi, Prithvyadi. Okay, that also is Hiranyagarbha is tejomaya amritamaya purusha. Veshti Samashti, right? The same thing. Vishwa Tejas of Prajnaha. In the same Mandukya Karika, the Tejasaha is Samashti or is Veshti, and then Hiranyagarbha is Samashti there. And Veshti Samashti we anyway looked at. Similarly, such a Linga Bhimani, such a Sarvesham Bhutanam Upakarakattvena Madhu, Sarvani cha Bhutani Asya Madhu. For that Purusha, this whole world is Madhu. Because if I am an indweller, I depend on the thing that I am indwelling, then only I can become an indweller. And the indwelled also depends on this indweller. Otherwise, where is the life for it? Therefore, they are also mutually upakaraka upakaraka. So that's you have to understand this very important point. Okay. They are also upakaraka upakarya, which this Amritamaya Purusha and the Jagat in which you are indwelling. And the Satyam for both is the satta. Okay, because that is why the vritti jnanam or the mind, sense, all these things are also included in mithya only. The vrittitvam is mithya. And the vrittitvam is what is the experience of Jagat. And that experience of Jagat includes experience of individuality. That you have to understand. Otherwise, the problem that comes is we are different from all this inert world, and you are sitting inside as a Chaitanya which is looking at the whole world like this. Then what is the reality of the whole world? So that is this is the Deha Vyatiriktha Atma that even Dvaitis and even people, Western religions also, they talk about soul. Soul is Deha Vyatiriktha Atma only, that which goes to heaven, not this body, right? So something which is other than the body is going to heaven. So we should not think of that as Atma. Okay, that is why here there is a mutual dependence of that on the earth or the things which are outside. Therefore, the Upakaraka Upakaryatvam is there between this Sharira Varti Tejomaya Amritapaya Purusha and the Deha also. Okay. Therefore, he says, Sacha Sarvesham Bhutanam Upakarakatvena Madhu Sarvani cha Bhutani Asya Madhu. Asya for what? For this Amritamaya Purusha. And Bhashikara says, Cha Shabda Samartyat. How are you adding that Adhyatmam and Amritamaya Purusha also? See, because if you see the Shrutivakya, it says, Yam Prithvi Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu. Asyai Prithvi Sarvani Bhutani Madhu. But it doesn't say Tejomaya Amritamaya Purusha Asya Madhu. Therefore, Prithvyam Tejomaya Amritamaya Purusha Yaha Cha. That Chakara, and similarly, Yam Adhyatmam Shariraha Tejomayaha Amritamayaha Purushaha. So this Chakara and Yascha, here also another Cha. Yeah, I was searching for that Cha. Yascha Ayam. So this Chakara means that they are also Madhu. They don't explicitly here, Shruti doesn't say Madhu, but Chakara is there. Therefore, Bhashyakara here, Cha means Cha Sabda Samartyat. They are also Madhu. Evam Etat Chatushtayam. Therefore, four things. What are the four things? Prithvi, Bhutani, Tejomaya Amritamaya Purusha, and the Sharira. Right? Whatever the Sharira is. Okay. Or you can take Adhyatmam and Adibhutam, Adidevam. Okay. So, Etat Sarvabhuta Chatushtayam Tavati Ekam Sarvabhuta Karyam Sarvani cha Bhutani Asya Karyam Ataha Asya Eka Karana Purvakata. Because there is a Paraspara Upakaraka Upakaryatvam is there. That means the Karanam, the cause of all these is different from all the four, which is what? Satta Samanyam only. Yasmat. Because other than Satta Samanyam, everything is included here. Everything else is included. Only the attributeless isness is left out. Okay? Yasmat ekasmat karanat edagyatam tadeva ekam paramartataha brahma. That is called Brahma. Itarat karyam vacharamvanam vikaraha namadheyam namamatram ityeshaha madhuparyayanam sarvesham arthaha. Okay, all the other verses also mean this from a Tatparya perspective. Only thing, it just replaces Prithvi with Apaha, and then it replaces Prithvi with Agnihi, Vayuhu, then Adityaha, Dishaha, Chandraha, Vidyut. Okay, so then Stanayishnuhu, then Akashaha, then Dharmaha, Satyam, Manusham, all these things in place of Prithvi. Again, that same Paraspara Upakaraka Upakaryatvam of these things with Bhutani is brought out. Okay. Therefore, the idea is the same as what he says. Ayameva saha yoyam pratignyataha idam sarvam yadayamatma iti idam amritam yat maitreyaha amritatva sadhanamuktam atmavijnanam idam tat amritam idam brahma yat. What is that brahma? Brahmadev bravani nyapayishyami iti adhyayado prakritam yad vishaya cha vidya brahma vidya iti uchyate idam sarvam yasmat brahmanaha vijnanat sarvam bhavati. Okay, and towards the end he shows that all this is brahma. After this dharma he talks a little bit, and this ayam atma sarvesham bhutanam madhu. Okay, there he finally concludes bhashyakara yasmin atmani parisishtaha vijnanamayaha antyaha paryaye praveshitaha saha ayam atma तस्मिन् अविद्याकृत कार्यकरण संघातोपाधि विशिष्टे ब्रह्म विद्यायाः परमार्थ आत्मनि प्रवेशिते सः एव मुक्तः अनन्तरः अबाह्यः कृष्णः प्रज्ञानघनभूतः स वै स एव अयमात्मा अव्यवहितपूर्वपर्याये तेजोमयः इत्यादिना निर्दिष्टः विज्ञानात्मा विद्वान् सर्वेषां भूतानाम् अयमात्मा सर्वैः उपास्यः सर्वेषां भूतानाम् अधिपतिः सर्वभूतानां स्वतन्त्रः. So that Brahma is Atmavastu is what is finally concluded. So now let's come back to this. Okay. So dvayor madhujnane param brahma prakashitam. We just saw how that param brahma is prakashitam. So here kwa ityaha madhuvidyakyam brahma vidyakhyam madhu amrutam tad vijnayate asmin madhujnanam madhubrahmane kimiva ityaha पृथिव्याम् उदरे चैव यथा एकः आकाशः अनुमानेन प्रकाशितः लोके तद्वत्. and पृथिव्यादि अंतर्गतः यः विज्ञाता पर एव आत्मा ब्रह्म सर्वमिति द्वयोः आद्वैतक्षयात् परं ब्रह्म प्रकाशितम्. Until the Dvaita takes place. And in the last verse we just saw, it was spoken about Brahma Sarvamiti Prakashitam, because that is where the Dvaita Kshaya is taken up and is spoken about. Then what is it that you are concluding now? The Upadhi, which was already spoken out as, okay, in two steps, Karikakara now has picked up the Upadhi. Okay. In the first step, he said Upadhi part is also from this Brahma only. Okay, Rasadayo hi koshaha taitariyake atma paro jivaha. And so the whole karyavatvam of the Upadhi was spoken about. Here, both the indwelling and the Upadhi, for both of them, the Karana is something else which is Brahma, is spoken about. Okay. So now that whole Advayatvam is now established, correct, by these two verses. Now, very interesting question comes. Your understanding of this Ananyatvam because of Srishti Krama. Okay. The Srishti Krama that is spoken about in Taittiriya and all that, by that you are saying the Karya is not different from Karana. Is that the right understanding? Because Shruti is actually talking about Pritaktvam. Then only Karma Kanda becomes meaningful. The Shruti Vakyas, when it is talking about Srishti, it is talking about Dvaitam only. How can you say it is a Karya Karana and therefore Karyam Karana Ananyate, all that is here is Brahman? You are exclusively just taking the Upanishad Vakyas and then trying to say that all that is here is only Brahman. But there is a huge Karma Kanda before this. There, Iti Kartavyata, and this Karya Karana, and Karya Upakarana, what are the yajnas to be done. Everything is spoken about. And it also talks about Hiranyagarbha is supporting this whole thing, world and all that. So your interpretation of this Karya Karana Shruti from Taittiriya and Madhubrahmana doesn't seem to be what the purport of the Vedavakyas. That is the Purva Paksha which is raised. And in that context, the next 2 or 3 verses, there is a discussion about how should this Srishti looked at, Srishti Prakriya, and why are we saying that Srishti Prakriya's Tatparya is to show that Karyam is non-different from Karana. That is discussed in the next few verses. We'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.